My name is Leo Mendoza and I'm a pet shipper with Shindogs Air. I live in a house full of dogs, so I guarantee you're gonna see a lot of dog hairs on my clothes. Nothing I can do about it. How to avoid being scammed by pet shippers. This is chapter 1 of who knows how many. The reason that Jean and I started Shindogs Air was because we were running a dog shelter and we had so many hardships trying to raise the money to pay the Korean local pet shippers for sending our adopted dogs out to their new homes abroad. The shippers were silver-tongued snakes that made themselves seem like your best friend while milking every bit of cash they could out of you. We decided that enough was enough and spent a couple of years learning and setting up how to do this business ourselves. So now we send our rescues without giving a few grand extra to a middleman, and we offer fair prices to customers. But aside from pricing honestly, I also want to educate people about how to ensure their pet moves are safe and economical. You see, pet shipping is our second career. Before we decided to pursue our dreams of earning a living from working with animals, I was a tenured professor for over 15 years at a university, and Jin, my wife, was an elementary school teacher for 13 years. So we are educators at heart. Today's lesson: the location of your shipper matters. A basic rule of air cargo shipping is that individuals are not allowed to just call up an airline and book something to go as cargo. Airlines just don't have the setup to deal with 80,000 individual package owners per plane. That's why the only way to book cargo is with a freight forwarder. These are basically middlemen companies that are acting as customer service between the package owner and the airline, and they make sure all the thousands of regulations are met in order for the package to fly safely. That's why if you want to put a box on a plane, you gotta get a freight forwarder. Oh, and one more thing. Aside from regulations, freight forwarders take care of another major problem: billing. You see, the airlines don't have the staffing or patience to deal with billing each one of those 80,000 package owners per plane. Chasing past due fees and collecting cash, balancing books is just too much work that can be way too expensive. Freight forwarders are specialized in the cargo they handle. You see, a lot of cargo types need even more knowledge by the freight forwarder to meet the regulations. The freight forwarders can't afford to have specialists on every cargo type on staff, so secondary shipping agents exist. Pet shipping is one of those areas. Pet shippers are in essence hyper-specialized freight forwarding middlemen that ensure regulations are met and the cargo is handled properly. As I said, freight forwarders are that link between the airline and the package owner. So for this relationship to work, the freight forwarder simply must be in the same country as the package is departing from. And here is where today's scam comes into play. Pet shippers are pretty much one country operations. If a pet shipper wants to do business in another country, they face a lot of problems. You gotta hire staff, rent offices, get business licenses, buy vans, and so on. You get the point. So they've set up a very clever system. Way back in the 70s, pet shippers from all over the world created an association, and they realized that they could pretend their businesses anywhere in the world by hiring other shippers to pretend they are in the same company. So here's a real case from a real person, Ashley. Ashley lives in South Korea. She has one small dog, a pug. She has the contact info of a pet shipping company that we're going to call Company A. They are based in Texas, USA. She tells them her needs and waits for the quote. Her dog needs to go from Seoul to Chicago. Now here's what she gets back: a total cost of $3,622.88. The invoice is elaborately made with lots of important sounding words designed to make it look like, wow, this is so complicated. I'm glad I'm hiring an expert for all of these complicated complications. So let's talk about item 001 and break down what Ashley is being sold. But before we break that down, let's see what Ashley actually needs to be sold. First, the shipping fee. We can call that a plane ticket for easier understanding. This is the actual fee that needs to be given to the airline for Puggy's transport from Seoul to Chicago. The cost varies according to many factors, but for the time period when Ashley got the quote, I can tell you that the number was $830. So I want to make this perfectly clear. The cost that the airline gets for putting the dog on the plane and moving him from Seoul to Chicago is only $830. So what's all the rest? Well, after paying the airline, basically every single middleman that was able to dip their hands into Ashley's purse is getting their cut. So these are the three things that Ashley needs to buy: a plane ticket, a freight forwarder fee, and a pet shipping fee. Now, as you can see, this pet shipper has added a lot of sentences that make it seem like a lot of stuff is going on. These are just fluff. Everything from document review, blah blah, to export formalities. That's just a list of the basic work duties that a pet shipper is supposed to do. It would be like McDonald's selling you a hamburger and invoicing you for toasting buns and mopping the kitchen floor and reviewing the lettuce quality. These are all things that are expected to be done without needing to treat them as individual cost generators. Okay, so why is there nearly $2,800 in all of this? Well, this is where the freight forwarder needs to be paid for their work on your behalf, and the specialized pet shipping agent needs their own company profits. But the clever thing here is, remember, Company A does not have offices here in Seoul. What they have done is they have hired a pet shipping company here to do the booking and freight forward management. Let's call this Company B. Just like any individual could call Company B's Korean phone number and hire them to ship their pets, Company A has hired Company B. But here's the kicker. Ashley will not be told that she could have directly called Company B and hired them without extra markup. What has happened is that Company B has calculated the cost the airline needs to be paid, that was $830, and they've added that to the freight forwarder fee. That's around $100. So then Company B has added their desired profit to the ticket cost. For reference, our profit on every shipment is $250. I don't know what Company B is charging for profit, but I'm confident that it's way more than $250. At this point, Company A takes the number from B and then they add their own profit markup to the ticket. I obviously don't know who gets what, but all you need to understand is that Ashley is paying a $2,800 markup on a plane ticket that is $830. That's a 436% markup. Now, there's a lot of math that can go into the way businesses calculate their markup on cost of goods sold, and different industries calculate their markups using many metrics. But to give you a general idea, just know that a company like Walmart marks up their items by about 24 to 28% over the cost that they paid to purchase their inventory. A more direct comparison is how human travel agents mark up their cost. That number is about 10%. Of course, a travel agent isn't accompanying you to the airport or supervising you while you use the bathroom and all the other stuff that pet travel agents do for you on the day of flight. But that does make you wonder about those markups. Okay, I get it. I get what has happened here. Company A in America has spent a lot of resources getting into a position where when Ashley was looking for a pet shipper, their name made it to her eyes. This is simply the result of an overall marketing strategy. Companies invest countless resources in making sure that when Ashley needs to buy a product, their name comes to her mind. If Ashley is an American English speaker, there's really not many ways for Company B to reach her via marketing. They are a Korean company with no access to advertising in mediums that can assure them Ashley will see their name. However, Company A can reach her, so A is in a position to find the customer, and B is in a position to provide the service to the customer. In my opinion, the ethical solution here is simple. A can refer Ashley to B, and if she hires them for shipping, B can give a reasonable sales commission to A for having brought a customer that otherwise they would not have found. But in this case, ethical solutions were not at the top of A's company priorities, because let's look at the other charge, 002. Here we are looking at $550 that are totally and completely optional. Every single thing listed here is something that Ashley herself can do or that simply is not required. Veterinary inspection? This is not a thing. There is no such requirement. Of course, it's worded in a way to make it seem like it's an official process that Ashley has to pay for. Import fees and taxes. Lies. There are no fees or taxes put on personal pets that are imported into the United States. All the rest is more fluff that is totally not needed. You can see that even though everything in 002 is optional, Ashley has been quoted that in the overall fee, making it obligatory for her to pay these costs. Look, I know companies need to make profits, but there are right ways to do it. Ashley is a young wife of an Army enlisted soldier. He is an E5 with a base pay of about $2,804 per month. I'm sorry, but I don't think he should be charged 5 weeks of base pay just to ship their family dog. There's a right way to ethically charge military families for the civilian services that they need in order to live a basic life. That's what we aim to do. Our basic quote for Ashley's pug plane ticket is simple. We add 3 items: the airline fee, which is the $830, the freight forwarder fee, and our company fee, $250 for all cases. That's it. Of course, we have additional services that we sell, like home pickup for $140 from her home to the airport, and we do something called Airport Concierge Full Care Service, where we take care of everything. I mean, every little detail that's going to be required, but those are entirely optional. Ashley could just bring the pug herself to the airport, take care of all the preparations, and all she pays is the initial 3 fees. Okay, so the conclusion of this. You need to hire pet shippers that are actually based in the country of departure. Second, you need to compare the price amongst pet shippers because those markups are totally unregulated and everyone charges the most they think they can get away with. And just so you know that our money is where our mouth is, anyone that has dealt with us knows that when we are contacted by people in the USA that need to buy plane tickets for their pets, coming from USA to Korea because they found us thanks to our superior marketing, we always refer them to companies in the United States that can do the booking. We don't pretend we have offices in the United States and try to book it directly. I personally consider this standard industry practice of country pretending to be unethical, deceiving, and of great damage to pet owners. If you have any questions about pet shipping, I'm available to answer your questions for free. We have a Facebook group called Flying Pets Korea Free Advice, and there you're going to have access to a lot of information that we provide for free, and we will answer your questions professionally so you know what you need to do to get your pet safely moved.